Hi, here we go again. I cannot believe that we're doing another road trip, but at the same time, we've been doing these road trips for a decade. It is astonishing to me to think about that. It doesn't seem possible.
It was 10 years ago that we did our mid-engines and mountains film. And here we are, setting out on a road trip in two mid-engine cars. But this one is a revisit to some of our favorite roads in the Eastern Sierras.
The trip we've wanted to do for a while. In fact, we talked about doing it last year with the C8 and my Lotus Elite. That's still not happening. We're now taking this Emira.
This is the inaugural road trip for the Emira. Whenever you buy a new car, you should immediately road trip it.
It has almost 1,500 miles on it. It is still brand new. It still has temp tags. I haven't had it very long. I am ecstatic about the fact that this Emira is mine. At least right now it's mine. I don't know if the show can keep carrying on with such very nice cars for our road trips.
And I'm so happy that Todd has the Emira. Have you seen the Emira? How cool is it? Every time I see it, it's so pretty. I'm so glad he's got it. The C8 is striking, but the Emira is beautiful. I love looking at it. I get to look at it the whole trip.
We've barely gotten started, and I'm already luxuriating. The air conditioner is wonderful. In fact, I turned it up earlier because it had gotten too cold in here.
This is really cool. And as soon as we set off, I just felt good again. I just felt relaxed and like this is what we need to be doing. All of us, you, me, Todd, everybody. I'm going to caveat the C8 Corvette one last time because there's a lot of cars that are hotter. I've said this a lot. But I don't think any of them do the road trip and GT and comfort thing as well as a Stingray. You can move up to the Z06, but the Z06 pretty much destroys everything the Corvette legacy was built on, and that is the best bang for your buck, the most power, the most performance for the cheapest price. The C8 is still less expensive than the Emira. Every time Todd and I get out, we look back at the C8 and just say, man, what a great car. It just does so many things well. The most compromised sports car in the world. It has the most trunk space, and in tour mode, it's so comfortable for road trips.
I cannot believe this car is mine, honestly. This Emira has already gone through a surprising story just in the limited amount of time I've owned it. I was able to get one at all because somebody that had this build slot that got this car built this way was unable to take the car. So they actually reached out to us at the show and said, would you like an Emira build? Are you okay with this build? And it was pretty close to what I wanted. I wanted the Magma Red color, which this has. I wanted the touring suspension, which this also has, and it was vital to me to get the V6 with a 6-speed manual. All of that was definitely happening on the build. The places where it differed from what I hoped for is I wanted the tan interior instead of the red, but I will have to say that while I thought I wouldn't like the red at all, now that I have the car, I like it quite a bit. I've really warmed to it. It still wouldn't have been my first choice, but now that the car is mine, I can't believe it's mine, and the red just feels like part of the story. I wanted silver wheels, not black wheels. That bothered me a lot when I first got the car, but that got solved as well because one of our viewers, Mike, came over with his yellow Emira and silver wheels on it. He left on black wheels. I have the silver stock factory wheels, which I love on this car. That left one thing that bothered me about this build, and that was the Alcantara steering wheel. If you're wearing racing gloves and it's your track car only, I start to understand the benefit of Alcantara, but I realized I just didn't enjoy having that be the interaction on my daily car. Well, now there's a company called Greg's Race Parts. They provide a lot of Lotus specialty parts for all of the Loti, the Elise, the Evora, and now the Emira. And with the Emira, they actually set up a new service where you can fully customize a wheel as you like it. So then I had the very scary moment of swapping the steering wheel on a brand new car. I mean, the airbag is essentially an explosive device. Greg sent me a process. It actually wasn't very hard. It only took about a half hour. Bolted this wheel on, reconnected all the plugs, put the airbag back in, and it's stock. It's OEM. It doesn't look aftermarket because it's not. It's an actual Lotus core steering wheel with my kind of design on it. It's perfect. I like the car even better, and I didn't think that was possible.
Thank you for noticing the wheels are different. Yes, my shirt does not match the wheels anymore. Apex sent their VS5RS wheel. This is the Sprintline, Forged Sprintline series, and it has completely transformed the look and the feel of the car. These are brushed clear, and I didn't think I'd like them, and I actually love it on this car. It looks so good. The stance is better. The wheels are pushed out to the edges. Apex has really approached wheel manufacturing from a motorsports perspective, and they've started with their own forged blanks. That enables them to do side milling on each of these spokes. It's like a little I-beam. The car is transformed. The whole car just feels lighter to me. And Vredestein tires, they've sent their brand new Ultrac Pro. This is an ultra high performance tire, and Vredestein has said that this is significant improvement in comfort and performance. This tire needs to perform, so both cars have the exact same tire.
We should take this moment and celebrate the fact that I have cruise control. That's exciting because on the Lotus Elise there was no cruise control, and I did thousands of miles with my right foot stuck in one position. So this Lotus Emira has cruise control. It works very well. It's all digital. It's over here on the left side of the steering wheel, and everything works. Even after I took the steering wheel off, it all works. The speed limit here in western Utah is posted 80 miles an hour. I am doing a speed above that, and I'm averaging about 24 miles to the gallon. That's not bad. I mean, that's not at all the reason you bought this car. I'm observing it is all I'm doing. I'm just observing. Paul in the big C8 with cylinder shut off is probably doing better than that.
We're already getting into the desolate wilderness. We're getting close to the salt flats already. We always decide to go out to places where there's nothing, especially the great western half of the United States. There's not a lot out here, and I kind of dig that.
We just turned off I-80 and we won't be back on a major interstate until we do our retreat home after the track day. The next multiple days will all be smaller roads or highways. This is a weekend, and look, there's no one. I can see a dot on the horizon that's another car. It's just us. It's one of my very favorite things about turning off of a major interstate anywhere in the western half of the US, and you realize just how much space we have. We're going to be just south of Highway 50, which was named the loneliest road in America. So this area is known to be vacant. That's why Area 51 is out here, because you're not supposed to go anywhere near it. Big people with guns, yeah.
I like this road. Daily triples are pretty easy out here. Not saying anything, just noting. So I've heard.
This is one of those parts of the country where I wonder why there's a speed limit at all. There's nothing to hit. You're endangering only yourself. The road is essentially empty. Let's go however fast we want.
It's this road why everyone should have a 500 horsepower car. It's crazy to think that the base C8 is now 500, right?
On one of those perfectly straight pieces of road where speed is irrelevant. There's nothing out here except my desire to go deep into triple digits, because I mean, not only daily triple, like I don't know, hourly triple. Hammering along in sixth. Air conditioning's got me feeling nice and cool. Temperature outside is 105, which is nearly my speed, because why not?
Found the top speed of the van.
All right, well, you heard it here first. The van is maxed out. It's at VO2 max. Paul and I are not. We're not.
Corvette's a fast car. It's a genuinely fast car. There was a crosswind, you see, so I didn't want to push it too much. You know, I could have kept going, but yeah, that was pretty fast. I like this thing even more. It's a great car. We have a new partner with us today. That is 3D Mats. They have sent us mats for the C8 Corvette, the two front, and they've added the rear cargo mat too. I think the best thing I like about the mats is that they look factory and they're not too rugged. They don't look too rough and tumble. They're thin, they're lightweight, they look OEM. Just power wash them and they look brand new again, and they're keeping the car clean. Thank you, 3D Mats. Really like these.
I love it when our transit days end up being a big surprise, and this is another one. I expected Central Nevada to just be boring, and it's desolate nature has actually made it fun. There's no structures, there's no cars, there's nothing out here but us moving in a train, which is frankly amazing. Reminds me of our time in northern Nebraska where we had the same experience where it was just us, and even then there were cows. Here there's just there's dust devils. There's a dust devil I could hit. That's really the only potential danger.
Just drove through a dust cloud with tumbleweeds, so I got Nevada pinstripes in the car. That was stupid. What can you do? Nevada pinstripes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You growing a bush back there? What's going on? There's a whole, there's like a nest back here. Paul, you sure you didn't pick up a bird?
I might have. There might be a bird.
Dirt's one thing, but like nesting animals is not really what we were going for.
Holy cow, you're getting a lot out of there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're driving them. These are the downsides.
Yeah.
Part of the adventure.
Good scratch there. Warm Springs Bar and Cafe looks closed.
We're in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and Paul said we had to stop. Why?
I have about a 3% interest in Area 51. This is the start of the road that leads to Rachel, Nevada, which is nothing. And then you can go past a black mailbox, and then you can take a right on Groom Lake Road. And if you travel a little ways on there, you'll run into a hut with probably pretty angry people. It's not going to be good. It's not good news.
He's just giving you the directions to a place you're not supposed to ever go to.
Well,
I'd like
it doesn't
that noted.
exist.
Don't make it a destination. It's not worth it. But if you're in the area, you got to stop, right? I mean, this is one of the things I enjoy about this is when we research these trips, Paul and I kind of ping off different things that intrigue us. And I always think it's really funny when he's like, wait, we got to do this thing. It's always little stops like that where you just stand somewhere and kind of enjoy the absurdity of it. He's great at finding those. So, Extraterrestrial Highway, the place that does not exist, is right back there. Oh, sorry, it's 109 now. Yeah, the cold front's behind us. Yeah.
Okay, here we are, hanging out at 100. 98. Same thing. I love using gas. I love burning gas. It's so therapeutic, especially in this car. It's just fun to burn gas. I really enjoy this. I have a new favorite thing for road trips, especially in sports cars. This has happened before, and that is the conversations you get into when people notice your car. And out here, people notice the Corvette more than the Lotus, I think. I just had a conversation with a gentleman at the gas pump who came over and said, "Is that thing as much fun as it looks?" I said, "Yeah, it is. It's excellent." Corvette has many different types of buyers. Some who aren't great at driving but aspire to Corvette ownership, and others who buy Corvettes and are very good at driving and are some of the fastest people on track. It's a broad range. But this appeals to so many people to the point that I don't think V8 engines will ever stop being built, ever. Anybody that stops making the V8, I think, is going to feel it. Come to think of it, I own 3 V8 engines. I own 3 cars with a V8. The Expedition, the 928, and this.
We're almost to Bishop, California, coming in from the eastern side. I've actually been through Bishop more times than I can count in my life, going up to Mammoth to ski, but I've never come in from this side. And here I am on yet another really cool road. We're carrying a lot of speed, nice sweepers, and we are literally by ourselves. The 3 of us are the only cars I've seen in the last 20 minutes, maybe more. When you're out on a drive in a great car and it's just you and the folks you're with, it's like they made the road for you. So it's been a decade since we were in this area with cars, and we are celebrating that among many, many other things. Oh look, a truck. Huh, okay. There's another person that's driving. In the last 10 years, just about everything in life has changed. Our podcast had barely started a decade ago, and now it's one of the largest and longest running podcasts in automotive. We know that buying Hooked on Driving, one of the premier places that hosts track days nationwide for people that want to get on track, from a complete newbie, never been on track before, to people that just don't want to race but are every bit as fast to be able to. And taking on that new brand has been a lot. It's been a whole other job and a completely different job than what we do for this show. We're of course older and grayer and fatter, and all of those things are true because that's life and that's the fight. So to come out here and to sit in this car and to spend all day, almost 600 miles, just driving cross country from Utah to California through great back roads we've never seen before. It's just been so recharging. It's been so therapeutic.
It's starting to get towards golden hour. A lot of great driving today. Certainly learned a lot. With dust storms, just even if they're all the way over there off the road, let them cross the road first. I like that these cars are driven though. I like that they're seen, and I like that they're used and driven.
Count this with me here. Three full seconds. 3 full seconds of delay before it fires. Then it fires and it stops. It's this way. It comes toward me.
Yep.
Special technique.
There it is. When all else fails, you need speed shine. It doesn't help us start the car,
No,
but maybe we can make it look pretty later.
it's not starting fluid.
Well, not having a great morning. My Emira, which is 2,000 miles old and nowhere near my home or any Lotus dealer, is not starting. So I am in the middle of a road trip. I did 600 miles in it yesterday and it ran flawlessly. And now I climb in it and I hit the start button and the starter fires, but the car never starts. This is definitely not the road trip we planned for or wanted, and the reality is we've taken broken down cars people expected to break, all kinds of stuff that shouldn't have made trips, and it's been fine, and the brand new 2024 Lotus Emira with just under 2,000 miles on it has decided to brick itself in a hotel parking lot. No one is sadder to hear this than me. I have a whole other Lotus history with my Elise, and it's been perfect. This car, I think the fuel pump has failed. Based on what we know from the code reader and how it's operating, appears the fuel pump is not working. Then I've had to deal with Lotus Roadside Assistance, who's been very helpful, except for the fact that we are 300 miles from every Lotus dealer. There's like 3 in a circle and we're 300 miles away. So we're trying to figure out how to get it towed to the right one on a flatbed so we can salvage part of the trip. I honestly still don't know exactly where the car is going. I just know currently it's going nowhere, and we have to figure out how to help it reunite with part of the trip while we continue. Ultimately, it just sucks. It looks amazing, even sitting there broken. So I got in one last time to use the accessory mode, close all the windows, and walk away. And then... the car's running, which on one level, hallelujah, I guess. It's been healed. I'm not sure how to feel, because does that mean it will keep running, or does that mean it won't? I really don't know what to do right now. I'm terrified to turn it off. It's running. It hasn't run all morning. It started like nothing ever happened. What do I do now? I don't know. Okay, we got to figure that out.
I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved.
The system talked to the other system that talked to the other system that talked to the other system that was angry about the first system talking to the last system behind its back, and now they've been to therapy and everybody at the moment is getting along. Now tomorrow morning...
No.
All bets are off.
We're good right now. Reconciliation has happened. We're good right now.
The car's running.
We're happy. On with the trip. This is day 2. it's all about the Lotus today, and it's been real frustrating.
I know you are raging at me in the comments. You are saying, I told you so. You are making Lotus jokes. I get it. I hear you. I understand. I have to say again that my Elise has been pretty much faultless. I bought it used as somebody's used track car, and I have driven it like crazy, and it just runs. So I am not prone to just believe that Lotus are problematic. What I am prone to believe, though, is that all of the electronic modules on all of these modern cars potentially create communication issues.
That's happened to us on multiple cars, and I think every modern car is susceptible. Doesn't matter what it is. So I don't think that has anything to do with reliability. Things can be fixed with a line of code.
The McLaren Arturo that we had that was 3 times more expensive than this, it bricked itself in Paul's garage one night, and then you turned it off, waited a while, turned it back on, it fixed itself. We've had one in a Honda Pilot. It's not like it's reserved to exotic cars. We've had random things happen to all kinds of modern cars in the last 3 or 4 years. Does that make the car fundamentally unreliable? Unknown. But as there's so much more computerized, it becomes a lot more likely.
Unplug your VCR, and then wait 15 minutes, walk away, plug your VCR back in, and you should be good to go. I believe it's not mechanical. I believe it's a line of code. Even Boardwalk Lotus has gotten involved to try to assist, and we're hoping to bring it to them.
Essentially, the majority of issues with this modern car come down to software. So what do? You suffer through. I don't want some random mechanic in a small town to just dig around in a Lotus and see what he can figure out. The absolute worst thing that happens when you have a glitch like this is it destroys your trust in the car. Can I get in, hit the start button, and I don't know, it starts. So right now I'm in that weird relationship place where I'm not out of love for the car, but I am out of trust with it. I don't like that.
Here's the Lotus now. It's running, it's moving. Todd's motioning that it's absolutely fine, and I'm so glad that it is. Thank you to Greg's Race Parts, who gave Todd his new steering wheel. Todd called Greg and even had a line into the technical director for Lotus. So Lotus is aware that we had some issues, and other Lotus owners, you might have the same issue, but that doesn't mean it's a bad car.
I intend to keep driving this no matter what. I intend to keep sharing with you what's happening and what's not happening. Well, I still want to get it on Sonoma. I still intend for this to be my track car later this week with Hooked on Driving. So I'm going to have to get it at least looked at by the dealer between now and when we get there. So we have to build that time into this trip.
Also, it's hot out here. We knew it'd be hot out here. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're talking about, but
it is 118 degrees out. It is that hot. The air conditioner, honestly, is doing wonderfully. Quite great. We were actually going to go to Death Valley this week. Because of this delay, we aren't going to Death Valley, and maybe that was the car protecting me. That's what I'll go with. The car was worried about my health.
I want to applaud our team. I want to applaud our mindset coming into this, because as much as we have planned, stuff goes wrong. That's all part of the adventure. It has changed our schedule, but good news, we still get to go to Onion Valley Road out of Independence, California, so we're headed south right now. Onion Valley Road was the one featured in Mid-Engines and Mountains. Look at him. Happy, the car's running, it's normal.
I know that sounds absurd, but it's running completely perfectly, like it ran all day yesterday.
I still love looking at it, at this thing. It's just pretty.
There's really only 2 reasons to be on this road. The primary one is because you came up here to go hiking. This road goes nowhere. It goes to a parking lot for hiking, which makes it perfect for fun driving.
It's funny because people look at you like, what are you doing up here? It's so out of place. And we think the opposite. If you're in an SUV on this road, why aren't you in a sports car? Look at this road. Way up in the backcountry simply to serve hiking trails. I mean, this is difficult to service this road.
I mean, it has been a decade. I don't remember this road as well as I thought I did. The surface has definitely gotten worse. But it winds through so many amazing parts of this mountain, and it's that stair step of curves working your way up the mountain.
This gets steep real quick, but the valley view is absolutely stunning. This is cooler than I remembered, actually.
See off the edge, I'm sure Paul is loving that.
I am sufficiently freaked and in amazement of the view. Both are possible. You can see the entire road laid out going on the side of the mountain around.
I can zoom out, and I can understand that this makes no sense. We have driven hundreds of miles to drive a few miles on a specific road. Every hobby or pastime or love or passion has things you do for it that folks that don't love it don't understand. And this is ours. Drive to a road to drive. So the thing to do here, now that we are here, we should just do laps.
This has to be one of the most scenic roads I've ever been on.
This is what I'm doing today. This is all I'm doing today. I mean, granted, the car was broken earlier, but now this is all I'm doing. Just driving for fun in a car I love.
Look at this corner with the pine trees. Look at this sweeper. I love what this road has spawned in us. I love what this has instigated. To go find roads. I'm just grinning like an idiot. This is amazing. Who says the C8 Corvette can't do nimble and technical and tight? This road proves it.
It's classic Lotus. Paul can walk me on the straights, but on the corners he has to work at it. This car feels incredible on this road. After a remarkably difficult morning, I have spent the afternoon in this car, loving it once again. It's tried to make it hard. It's been a tough day. But ultimately, I've just been on a quiet, wonderful road with great friends and awesome cars, just enjoying it all day today. Well, all afternoon.
I'm just amazed. And suddenly we're back in the valley. That is our ode to Onion Valley Road. I see the valley, I see the road, and I still have not found the onions.
Since I turned this car on after lunch, I mean, I'm amazed that it started, but I haven't turned it off since, which normally I turn it off and on all afternoon. But I'm about to do the scariest thing I've done all afternoon, which is that. So now we just have to hope that after I get gas, which I desperately need, it'll start again.
So Todd is about to start back up. He's calculating his MPG. Meanwhile, I drive a V8 powered automobile. I just don't care. Moment of truth.
This is what happens when the group collectively holds their breath. I have never been so relieved to hear an engine fire in my entire life. That is the best sound ever. Ever. I know it's stupid to be excited by this, but the car started right up. I wasn't rolling camera. I should have been, probably, for the momentous occasion of the Lotus starting. And it's stupid that that is an occasion at all.
Morning of day 3, we are just leaving Lone Pine, California, and headed to a place called Manzanar. I've never actually stopped here.
This place is chilling. I've just rolled through the actual front gate. It is a gorgeous area for a prison.
I admit to driving this road out here quite a lot and never paying much attention. This is the first time I've ever stopped here.
This was a prison for American citizens. That's crazy to think about. This was 1942, so of course the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor in 41. In 1942, they built this. They started interning the Japanese. Internment is a really nice term for we're rounding you up and putting you in prison.
President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, and that affected every Japanese American down to ancestry with only 1/16 of Japanese heritage, primarily on the West Coast, to be relocated to prison camps. And Manzanar is one of about 10 prison camps affecting 120,000 or so Japanese Americans.
And the reason I find that so sobering is right now, I don't care what you believe politically, we're incredibly divided. It's all us versus them. That's exactly the thinking that leads us here. American citizens put in prison by other Americans because they didn't like them or didn't trust them. This was the meeting place. People graduated high school while they were here. George Takei, who played Sulu on the original Star Trek, he was interned here with his family as a child.
Over my shoulder is a guard tower that's been reconstructed to be a memory and to show people what this place, the tone of this place.
How much of a juxtaposition is this? You're an American, you love basketball, we'll build you a basketball court. On the other end of the spectrum, you're an American, leave your home, be imprisoned. Both are evident right here. That's a basketball court.
It's amazing to me to be in a place that was built entirely out of fear, because of the fear of espionage. I mean, 1/3 of the population of Hawaii were Japanese Americans. It affected, what, about 120,000 Japanese Americans?
Yes,
nationwide.
11,000 here.
11,000 here.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't really feel like playing basketball.
There's a certain amount of reverence that happens when you drive onto the property and your mood changes and you understand what really went on here, and the life that was lived here by Japanese Americans is pretty much unthinkable to me.
This is a strange, sobering place. In the middle of beauty, one of my favorite parts of the country. It's really interesting to grapple with those two sides of the same place.
Really helps me to visit places like that, reset, focus on things that matter in life. I'm very reflective right now because it's amazing that Todd and I get to do this for a living. And believe me, when we say we get to do it, we mean it. It's a privilege to be able to get out here and share this road trip with you.
In more lighthearted news, the Emira has started every time I've asked it to today. I mean, you would think it's a pretty low bar for car performance, but it has started up every time.
We're still gonna get it checked out at Boardwalk Lotus, but for all intents and purposes, look at that. The car just is running normally. It seems to be fine.
I was talking to the tech over there earlier today, and he told me that since I had this car delivered in early May, there's been at least 4 software updates to the brains of this car to help everything continue to work together. I mean, that's not even unique to Lotus. I just cannot believe this is a thing that's happening to cars. We're all just beta testers waiting for the car to work right with the next software patch. Most people, when they traverse California, take I-5 on the other side of the Sierras. 395 has always excited me. It has always been interesting as a way to just see real scenery and still get speed. I think we all have places that are burned into our memories, that we have a lot of joyous and happy memories connected to a place. I'm a mountains guy. I love the mountains. And the Sierras specifically are one of my very favorite. They just speak to me. They calm me. I just love being in this area. Now, a lot of that has to do with a lot of great memories early in my adult life, early in my marriage. In the course of actually meeting Paul, we'd come to the Sierras, just the three of us. That's how we became really close friends. And apparently I won't shut up about it. Poor Chance and Jordan that are with us on this trip helping us film, I think they are really, really sick of Paul and I going, oh, remember that place? Oh, remember that place? Oh, when we were this age, I sound like I need to be talking from a walker.
We just had lunch at Lee Vining, which is where we ended Mid-Engines and Mountains. It was very fitting to be back. I'm telling you, this is the nostalgia tour. Our destination coming up is Bodie, California. It's a ghost town. I've never been, and I've always been curious. Never really had a reason to go.
This is Bodie, California, the world's most preserved, largest ghost town. It actually was a town until about 1942, the same year that they started putting people in the internment camp of Manzanar. The last people were leaving this.
And I'm so excited to actually be in a place that is real. It's not a set, to our understanding. A film has never been shot here.
I first came here, I can't believe I'm going to say this, 20 years ago as just a Western genre fan. I love Western movies, and I walked through this town and I thought, I've never seen anything like this, and I've never seen any Western take place here, and that seems like a tragedy. And then I started thinking about the fact of how do you set a Western in a ghost town? And a few weeks later I had an idea for a script that takes place almost 90% in this town. Of course, I renamed it, but it's one of those things that's almost been made multiple times, but one of the hard parts is you have to do it here.
The building next to us is employees' residence, and they actually live here all summer long. But the maintenance guy, he's been here 18 years, and I said, well, what is there to maintain? It's a ghost town. Everything is out of plumb. It's not square. I'm surprised things haven't fallen over by now. And so he said, well, he maintains the buildings. He actually supports them if they're gonna fall over, or replaces boards, but they don't just use any boards. You don't go to Home Depot to repair Bodie. You use period wood and you use period nails to keep the structures intact. So there is maintenance and to keep the ghost town alive. It's the strangest thing. Now, if you look inside the church, there's still a pipe organ and all the pews are intact. You can look in and you can see how life was.
When I first came here, it was my wife and I. We came here, we wandered around, and then we both came away and we realized that the name Bodie is a really cool name for a little boy. And years later, we had a son and we named him Bodie. And then I mined an old photograph I'd taken years prior, didn't even think of it, that says Bodie Hotel meals at all times. So as an infant, he had it in his room because that was our life, but it all came from here.
This is a ghost town, but you usually associate ghost towns not having anything to do with cars. That is not true about Bodie, because over my shoulder, you can see is a 1927 Dodge Ram, and there's gas pumps, Shell gas pumps here. So it was used in the early 1900s. Cars are here, there's cars, there's trucks scattered around here. I mean, mining equipment, of course, what powers it? It's amazing that this is real. I'm still blown away by seeing everything here. Over my shoulder over here, you can see one of the main mining buildings, and it's so classically California. This is what gave California its wealth. From 1860 to 1941, almost $34 million worth of gold was pulled out of this area. Think of those in terms of the value of the dollar then. That's millions and millions of dollars nowadays. That's astounding. And then everybody left. And what continues to amaze me is just the amount of human effort that has gone into building everything here. Every material, everything had to be brought in. Over my shoulder is the bank vault. There was a fire in late 1800s that swept through the town of Bodie and decimated everything except for the vault. What a piece of history. This is amazing.
It just looks like everybody vanished en masse one day. It is a time capsule more than it's a museum.
What I love the most about this show is these road trips. They've given us an opportunity to do the road trip, but also to stop and see things we never otherwise would have. Man, I can't honestly say I would have gone to Bodie ever. We've turned off to Sonora and we're suddenly up in the mountains on a beautiful road.
Well, this is 108 Sonora Pass. It is the next pass above the one that goes through Yosemite, Tioga Pass. I'm hoping it is both quieter and every bit as fun as Yosemite without the traffic. Steep and narrow grade. I like this story. Look at this. Another vote for don't take the obvious road.
This was unexpected. It's like somebody just unrolled a carpet through the wilderness.
10-mile-an-hour corner. Come to Papa. Like that. Yes, please. Oh, I see. Yeah, decreasing radius at the end. That makes sense. This is beautiful. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, some of these turns were blind crest, turning left, don't hit the tree, follow the yellow stripes. Yes. I am seriously in love with this road. Look at this place.
Just diving the Lotus in. It's also very funny. We get on a tight road and the Lotus starts to really shine in comparison to the C8. Paul keeps kind of falling back a little bit, and I'm not trying to go fast. I'm just driving what's comfortable.
Far lighter cars, like the Emira, are better for this road. But this is not doing badly. I can feel the weight big time. It's nimble. It's nimble enough.
Look at this road. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. I know I sound like a broken record. Sorry, you don't even know what a broken record means. I know I sound like a skipping song. This road has gone from, I think that'll be pretty cool, to top 5 in the last 15 minutes.
And we've got 15 more miles of this. This is so therapeutic. I haven't thought about anything else for the last 2 hours. Nothing else but this road.
There's a sense of discovery and anticipation because you just don't know if it's going to stay this good and what's this next corner doing. Am I going fast enough or am I going too fast, which is worse?
How did we not know about this? And this lower section is made for the Corvette. The upper section, definitely twisty. The Lotus is far more nimble. But these sweepers, this is where the Corvette shines. Look at this. It's proving it over and over. It's nimble on these roads. It's perfect for interstates. Great at high speed. And we've got a track day coming up. I have yet to come across a scenario where it's just not suited for the road or just not suited for the situation. It's still exotic looking enough. It's not $100,000. It's got plenty of power. If you want something with more performance and more power, there's even hotter versions of the C8 above this, and this is still a 500 horsepower car.
I'm enjoying this car on this road more than any time I've driven it so far. This is the most fun I've had in this car since I've owned it. Onion Valley was very fun. I've enjoyed this entire road trip, but this road and this car, they are made for each other. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of have to thank this car because there was that moment of crisis yesterday when it wouldn't start. We figured out all these various scenarios for ways that the trip could continue. So when this car resurrects itself and we actually get the opportunity to take it everywhere we wanted to take it, I've appreciated that more than I probably would have otherwise. Still taking it in tomorrow. Still think it's ridiculous that I'm beta testing the software. It's not just a Lotus thing, it's just an industry-wide thing. Well, good morning. This is not the reason that we do these films. We don't do these films to show you traffic. Every now and then people say, hi, why don't you ever show people commuting? Because it's boring. Plus, I'm always aware in traffic that I like my car more than everyone else. That's always something very clear to me. In fact, that was an impetus for the show originally, is I looked at people around me while commuting through Los Angeles and realized most everyone was miserable and hated what they were driving and the fact that they were driving. We have decided to go to Boardwalk Lotus in San Francisco area, and that is because they are closest to our track day. So I got to cold call them and say, hi, I'm bringing you a Lotus that I need fixed today. They've been very accommodating over there, so I'm excited to actually talk to them. It started this morning, so I know I'm going to arrive at the Lotus dealer, and I'm expecting, based on everything they've told me and everything we understand, it's going to be a software update. But the big fight here is to try to get this car addressed so I don't have that lingering problem in my mind for tomorrow when I want to get on track, and then the day after and all the days to come when I head home. There's something kind of satisfying about bringing the dirtiest Emira they've ever seen in for service. This is what happens when you road trip.
We're waiting for Todd's Lotus to have the ECU update and an oil change. And we thought, what do we do while we're in the Bay Area? Well, naturally, you come to Canepa, you come to Bruce Canepa's shop. I mean, he's the 959 Whisperer. He's got the museum upstairs and everything for sale down low. But the real special part of this tour is the shop. I feel like I'm home. I've only been here twice, and every time I come, I start counting 959s. I just like it here, and I love that Bruce thought about doing this, because yes, there's money in doing this, but he's saving cars. This is what we need as enthusiasts. We're reminded why we love cars so much when we come here, because you see stuff you don't see anywhere else.
Over there is a Jaguar XJ220 dismantled. Over here, we have the original Bugatti supercar. It's the EB110, which is really small actually, being serviced. But by the way, the bay it's in is the official Gordon Murray Automotive Service Center for this area. You buy yourself a new Gordon Murray T50, bless you, you get to come to Canepa for service.
Of all the cars here at Canepa, which one would I go home with? And it's the Transporter over there. You see the gray one? That's the one that I really want. It's got a bathroom, a stand-up bathroom, and a living quarters, and space for two beautiful cars in there, and it's perfect. It's the Canepa design, the concept design, because then you can put more cars in it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Bye-bye. But I'm going to plan to go to track day tomorrow and plan to drive it home, and I'm not leaving it here.
Can I just say how happy I am that Todd has his Lotus back. Thanks to Boardwalk Lotus. He's gotten the oil change, he's gotten the software update. It's just a relief to know we're good to go.
Poe over there, he fit me in at the last minute because of course, not on the schedule. And they actually did all of the checks to see what software upgrades this needed. They actually needed 2 different updates to the software since I've gotten the car in May. That's how fast they're doing little tweaks on the ECU on this car. Along the way, they found a service bulletin, which is new and interesting. They're actually putting a rubber seal, a rubber panel underneath the aluminum under panels, the aluminum air panels there, because it's defending the compressor on the AC that's starting to have some moisture issues in some climates. Wasn't a required thing, but it's something that they've heard from Lotus is helpful. So they put that on as well. So they actually got some good things done. Because the car's been running, I'm hoping that with the software updates, it will just keep running and we'll go from there. But now, if you'll excuse me, I have to sit in traffic to fight my way through rush hour to get back to where we started. Track day. We are actually bringing our cars covered in the filth of a road trip to a track day at Sonoma Raceway. Really excited to be out here with our group, Hooked on Driving. Great coaches that are here to help you get around the track and then get faster.
Sonoma is a very technical track. We've heard so many people say, you're gonna love it, but it's technical, it's fast. I'm really curious to learn something new. It's one of those things that everybody likes a challenge.
I'm just excited to actually have driven the Emira here, that it's still running, and I'm actually gonna put it on track before I drive it home. Thanks to Vredestein Tires for putting on tires that can do all of the above. We'll see how they do on track.
Just like we say when we go to Germany and we're on the ring and we're on Spa, at no time do you feel like you know it all. You can always learn something, and that's what we want.
Plus, I just like that Hooked on Driving exists, that it's part of our ecosystem now, and anybody can get on track. It's gonna be amazing. Here I am lining up with Group B. Now, Hooked on Driving has 4 groups. A's are the novices, D's are the fastest guys out there. Since I'm gonna be talking to you while I drive, I thought I'd go out with Group B. I really ought to change the mode from Tour into Sport, which is better throttle response from the powertrain and actually a little bit less stability control. And at Hooked on Driving, you can get on a hot track with your windows up.
I've only had 7 or 8 laps on track at this point, but we're getting back on. First solo session in the Vet, and this is quite a technical track. Keep it in, all the way we'll roll out. I'm hearing my instructor's voice in my head. Thank you to my instructor, Justin. He has definitely given me the confidence.
As is the case with every track day I can think of, you end up chasing a Miata because they're always fast. Had some really good coaching by Alan in the prior session, him really showing me the line on this track. Since this is my first time on Sonoma, I definitely needed that. And then I will admit to be struggling with the turn 2-3 complex here.
I've gotten that track setup, the track alignment, right? But the apex wheels on this car have made it feel so light. The rotation on this car is now quite brilliant.
I am so thankful to Wine Country and Bell helmets right now because I'm getting my head thrown around and this helmet is so light. I'm loving it. It's great. Wine Country is the official gear supplier for Hooked on Driving and for pretty much anything you need for heavy duty street and track driving. Wine Country has it. Plus I have to go open face so I can talk to you nice people. Right now I'm wishing for some seriously aggressive seats. All right, I can brake later here, heading into the 7 combo.
The brakes are actually quite good on track, and these aren't even track pads officially. This is the Z23 Street Warrior kit from Power Stop. And you know what? They're quite excellent on track. I've gotten the track fluid done.
This has stock brakes and stock brake fluid in it. I was actually told that the .4 brake fluid from the factory should be good enough to hold up to a track session. We're putting that to the test today. It's a 100-degree day out there. Air conditioning, windows up. So far I haven't had any new brake fade, which I was kind of anticipating. Typically with a stock car with stock brake fluid, you would expect some.
This car is designed for track use. Absolutely. It actually gets better the harder you drive it on track. That's the hallmark of a great car. Ooh, slidey slide. Steering with the throttle on the carousel exit.
Right on the ABS. Brakes are still with me. That rotation's wonderful. Pretty fun to hear that supercharger howl. Got the 350R chasing me, that's pretty fun. I might have turned in a halfway decent lap in here somewhere.
It's quite a lot of fun chasing a 997 turbo around the truck. You tell I'm having fun? And that's the checkered. Just finished the first session I've ever been on Sonoma Raceway, and this is a spectacular track. Everybody is right, and I'm still not using all of the track.
I've got a lot of places to work on yet. My 2-3 combination is mostly terrible. Other places, like the carousel and back here at turn 7, the rotation on the Emira is fantastic. I'm pretty impressed with the tires, and the stock brake fluid held up to a hard tracking session, which I'm a little astonished by, but they said they thought it would.
I was passed, that's okay. I was passed by, well, everybody, I think. But those were my first 7 or 8 laps. I'd lost count already. The Corvette was excellent. I really like it on track. I can really feel the balance, and the car settles when you add power. I'm starting to feel it, and I want more.
Every time I hit the start button, the Emira starts. That's good news. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to brag about, but that's the step we're on. I've decided to be bold and run in track mode, which dials back the stability control even further. Let's see how sloppy I am.
Back on track. This is our final session of the day, and I just feel like I'm getting warm to the track now.
Track mode's allowing me to rotate a little bit more under power. That's pretty nice. But I'm also letting this car slide around more, and I'm just enjoying exploring that. Not worried about my lap time, just worried about the dynamics.
See, this is about the time when you get the red mist. And if you're on track with your friends, Todd's just ahead of me.
There's Paul. Paul has shown up in my rearview mirror as I play around. I'm sure he's going to take me with his extra 100 horsepower over me.
It's so interesting throughout our entire driving together, whether it's on track for real or whether it's in a game, Todd and I have always taken different lines. There's some corners I think, I'm catching him, and others he just leaves me. Of course, he's in a much lighter Lotus. This car has power. The direction change, the balance of this car is so neutral. There we go, there's the track out, there's faster line through there. See, Corvettes let you cheat because you can catch up with the power in the straightaways. That's always been their hallmark.
Paul has closed the distance as we end up in traffic.
We're in a train of cars.
We've all gathered up again. I've called this meeting to discuss track days. This is just friendly. That's what I like about it. It's just friendly track day. Getting better. This is the thing about track driving I find so fascinating, is it's just an ongoing process. I realize it's the same kind of thing that draws people to golf, but this is not golf. Can you have your best day? Can you refine what you know to be better the next time? This is what I love about it so much. It's what I love about driving so much.
That's checkered. No! No! Oh man. Time for cool down. I was working on him. See, he does lines great. I do lines maybe as great. And we both come out pretty equal. It's pretty amazing to me.
I am pleasantly surprised by how well this car has done out here, how much fun it's been, and it actually got more fun in track mode with the traction control dialed back.
Oh my gosh, you gotta come out here. You've got to get your car on track.
Man, that was fun.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
That was really fun.
This is our last day of the road trip. We're headed back home, headed out of town. There's always adventure. There's always stuff going on. I'm wearing my 928 shirt because I do miss road tripping our old cars, and I've got fond memories of that. But this has been really, really awesome.
I'm incredibly thankful to the people that helped make this possible. But one of the main ones I have to thank right now is Greg at Greg's Race Parts for giving me the opportunity to have the steering wheel I wanted on this car and take the Alcantara one off. I've spent, it will be almost 2,000 miles in this car since we left, and I would not have wanted to do those 2,000 miles with the Alcantara wheel. So awesome that's even an option. All the cool, very Lotus specific parts that he has, this steering wheel was a real surprise. But I think about all the companies that just like the fact that we're driving cars.
On the everyday driver side, Griot's Garage, of course, Auto Tempest, Power Stop brakes for equipping the C8, Vredestein tires provided All-Track Pro tires, and they really are proving to be a great balance between street and track. And 3D mats. I'm really liking the 3D mats, the OEM look, and they prove to be excellent, not too slippery for track use, but really durable and excellent for general use. And on the HOD side, big thanks to Wine Country Motorsports. We have a great partnership with Wine Country and Bell Helmets. You saw Bell Helmets on track, on camera. Fantastic, lightweight, open face helmets. Both Todd and I wore our chicane speedsters on track. That was excellent for pedal feel.
These are all supporters and sponsors of what we do, that like the fact that we actually do road trips, that like the fact that you guys want to drive your cars.
We've got over 700 miles to go today, back home. I'm glad the Lotus is running. It seemed to be a heat issue, apparently. I decided to leave the vinyls on just for the road trip, you know, just to remind me of a great day.
So we're getting back on the freeway, having made a stop in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, for a few reasons. First off, we were getting pretty tired, and sleepy driving is genuinely very dangerous because you think you're going to be okay, and then you try to push through and bad things happen. But I also started scrolling through screens and I noticed something. I noticed that my right rear tire is running a significantly lower PSI than the left rear tire, which was not the case when we ended the track day yesterday. Now luckily we have an air inflator with us from Battery Tender, and so I connected that up and I refilled it. Now we're going to see if it has a slow leak and see if I have to keep refilling it, which I'm thinking the answer is probably yes. We're about 400 miles from home. It's going to be lots of little stops to do that. But then, to complicate issues further, it's about 115 degrees out. The car is really hot. It was sitting on the pavement. All of that was true. I grabbed the hose to disconnect it, and I burned my finger and thumb badly enough I can see the texture of the metal hose in my fingertips. So that hurts like crazy.
I really like that we drove our cars a long way just to put them on track and then drive them home again. Do not let your car sit in your garage. Drive it to the other side of the country for a track day. You know what? Here's an idea. If there's a track that you've always wanted to drive and it's on the Hooked on Driving calendar, drive your car to the event, get it on track, and take a road trip back home. It just feels really good to use these cars as intended.
It's been a very strange trip. It's had amazing moments throughout. But now that I'm nursing a leaking right rear tire, it's going to be a long night. It's been a mixed bag of a trip because we've had amazing, like iconic memories and fun that we've had and roads that we've done that I will always remember. And then that's been balanced with real surprises that have thrown off our entire plan and not been fun. Cars, their engines have always been a series of contained explosions, and that's kind of been this trip. Something explodes and we wrap our arms around it and figure out how to pivot and we make the most of it. And then we have another great experience and then another explosion goes off and we keep trying to cope. And it's been actually fun overall. It just hasn't been what we expected. What's funny is in spite of the downturns in the midst of this, I can't get over how much fun these road trips are. I can't get over how much we enjoy getting away from all of the madness and just taking a road adventure for a week at a time. It's so much fun. Thank you to all of you who've watched, who've been inspired by these trips and taken your own. We're going to keep doing them. I want to take more in this car. I just hope that in future trips I'm not worried about monitoring one of the tires or questioning myself when I hit the start-stop button. Let's solve those But yeah, lots more trips in our future. Some big ideas coming too. And since we're going to get home at about like midnight in the pitch black, it won't be very cinematic. So thank you for watching. Glad to have you here. This is like limp mode getting home, but we're getting there. And we have these great memories behind us. Isn't that life? Isn't that what we're all battling through? Those high peak moments, and we know the valley's coming.